Hey guys, today I'm here with George Shepard, and George has a very different perspective from all the other people I have interviewed here, and we're gonna learn a lot. I've been learning a lot with George, and I'm grateful, George, that you're here and giving some time, and generous enough to give some time and some tips for the people from Digital Insider, right?
You're welcome.
So George, you have several businesses, right?
Right.
And could you please tell a little bit how did you actually started beginning as an entrepreneur online? How did it always started?
Well, I started out with a membership site originally, and that membership site was to teach people how to play drums because I was a drummer.
So you're a drummer, right?
Yeah, I am a drummer, and I was teaching people, one-on-one private lessons. I thought, I can only teach maybe 40 students a week because it's just so much energy.
Yes.
What if I can teach 1,000 students or 100 students even? How much more could I make, and how many more people can I reach?
Yes.
So I decided to go ahead and start an online website, which was just simple videos, instructional videos, same things I was teaching, but charged like $10 a month for it.
Yeah.
And I did that back in 2000, I think it was, 2001.
Wow.
I didn't know anything about internet marketing.
That's like 100 years in.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it looks like 100, but yeah.
So I started that, and it was pretty successful. I mean, I didn't know what successful was at that point. It wasn't like a $1 million product launch or anything, but it was a couple $1,000 a month, and I was like, wow, this is awesome. Just out of college, that was a phenomenal thing.
Yeah.
So I made all kinds of mistakes in the beginning, and I eventually just kind of like let that site not do anything anymore. I started doing other things.
Yes.
And I bought a book from Mike Filsaime called Butterfly Marketing. And that's when I started understanding that there's a whole subculture of people on the internet that are actually trying to start online businesses. So I started going through this process of collecting as much information as I could because I wanted to perfect, some sort of an online business. And that led me down different paths because I have a lot of different interests.
Yeah.
So I figured out how to actually start a business online. And I thought, well, what am I going to start? Because I don't want to start something that I'm not interested in, like
I don't know,
basket weaving or anything. It's like something I want to do that I'm interested in. And I started doing magazines. Was one of the things I did.
For real, like real magazines?
Like real magazines. I said I'm going to use an internet type system, like a product launch type of system, to actually launch a magazine, a physical and a digital hybrid magazine.
Wow.
And I did that with Drum Pro. So it was firstly the thing that I wanted to do.
You own a magazine, or you did own it? Is Drum Pro still being published?
In digital format only.
On digital format only. But when you started, it was like real magazine?
Yeah, it was actually, we started out digitally with it to make sure that the market was there. We wanted to test that. It was low cost. And we came out with an issue as a test, because I always say to test everything. And same thing with you. I know you test like crazy amounts of stuff, which is awesome.
Yes.
You need to. If you're listening to this, you need to test everything.
Yes.
And listen to this guy, for sure.
I'm a testing freak.
Exactly.
So,
it blows my mind every time we meet.
Yes.
So we tested that out in physical format, and we decided to keep it in digital. Because we saw, this was back in 2003, before there were digital magazines at all. We were the first digital drum magazine in the world, actually digital music magazine in the world, way before anything else. So we saw a trend, so we figured we'd go ahead and capitalize on that.
Yes.
One of the downsides was that we were really early. We had no competition, and no competition can sometimes be a bad thing.
Why is that?
Because people don't understand the concept. If you have, say for example, in our industry, it was advertising was driving magazines. So if you go to an advertiser and you say, we've got a magazine, but it's digital,
they don't understand, right?
Oh, digital, what do you mean, like a banner ad? And there's nothing to base it on. But now if you came to somebody and said, yeah, we have a digital magazine with X amount of subscribers, they'd be like, okay, how much? In the beginning, we had some advertising, but it wasn't anywhere near what we get now, with our magazines. So that one magazine led to another, which led to another. So I published 4 magazines, and then I also got my wife into publishing her own magazine as well, totally digital, online.
Really?
Yeah, and that's a food magazine called Desserts.
Desserts, and do you have a website? Let's begin giving some URL. What is your drum website?
Drum Pro right now. Drumpro.com is the magazine website, and that's being revamped at this time. So if you go there, you'll see some stuff. But we're actually going to be doing a relaunch along with Drum.com. There's a whole process for that.
Listen to these guys. This guy owns Drum.
Well, I have partners in Drum.com.
Oh, you have partners, right?
Yeah,
but you co-own it?
We have some agreements that I can't talk about. They're secret.
I see.
But yeah.
So let's not talk about it.
Okay, we won't talk about that one.
Not that one, but yeah. So
but
there's another thing that George is a specialist as a what we call a domainer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Specialist.
A domainer.
We're gonna touch that soon. But yeah. So here's the thing. So your wife's magazine is Desserts. What is the URL for people that...
Dessertsmagazine.com.
Dessertsmagazine.com. Is this just digital or...
Just digital only.
Okay. Now, do you own any magazine which is printed?
Yeah.
Okay, which one is that?
Survivalist magazine.
So you went to the niche of survival. What is actually the survivalist niche?
Okay.
No. That's no problem. Please, come on.
It's okay.
So as you guys know, we are always playing chess here. So from time to time, these things will happen. But that's no problem. As Susan say, done is better than perfect.
That's right.
Yes.
And that's a big takeaway.
And I know you have to travel, so we've got to do this. So,
okay.
So let's think about. I forget a little bit where I was. Oh yes,
digital.
So we went to the survivalist. What is survivalist? What?
Okay, survivalist. What a survivalist is someone who's preparing for. It could be a disaster, it could be a collapse, it could be just losing your job, with the economic uncertainty right now.
Yes.
So the idea with survivalism came out of another magazine that we did called Republic. So it was kind of like a political magazine. And we realized that there's so much craziness going on right now politically in all kinds of different countries that we might not be able to fix it. So what we need to do is prepare for the worst. So if we can't fix it, at least we're prepared to survive it.
Yes.
So I went out and bought survivalist.com, which was one of my domains.
Yes.
And we launched a magazine on survivalism, which is both a print and digital hybrid. So you can get both formats. And it's been just doing really, really good.
Nice. So you are in. How do you actually monetize?
We sell subscriptions, we sell advertising, we sell individual books. When I say books, I mean individual magazines. We have it on Kindle, we have it on iPad.
Yes.
People want the information.
Okay, great, George. And you also trade domains? You also do?
Yeah. Since you mentioned domainer, what's
Yes.
a domainer? A domainer is someone that goes out and buys domain names for one of two reasons. The first reason is either to develop the domain into something good,
Yes.
that they can use, a website, online business, as
Yes.
we're all talking about, or to just sit on it and flip it, kind of like a real estate investor might buy a house, fix it up, or just leave it and just flip it if they got a good opportunity. So it's internet real estate, really. Imagine a domain as an address. It's like buying one Santa Monica place, right? That if you're right on the beach, there's no more real estate like that. So if you get a really good .com and someone wants that, I have people making offers on my domains every week.
Yes.
Sometimes they're low offers, sometimes they're, more reasonable offers. The highest offer I ever had on one of my domains was $23,000.
Wow.
For a domain I paid $1,000 for.
So it's like a 23 times return.
20, exactly.
Did you sell?
No.
No, you keep
it wasn't enough for me.
Okay, good. I get it. And
It's a good one.
How many domains you own right now?
Right now, I think I have about 1,200, something like that.
Yes,
it was
1,200,
almost 3,000 at one point.
Okay.
But I realized that just like everyone, there's a limited amount of time, and I was never going to develop 3,000 domain names. Just was never going to happen. I had too many ambitions. Sometimes we get ahead of ourselves and do things we shouldn't do, just because we know we can do them.
Yeah.
That curse of knowledge.
Yes.
Type of thing. So I was a little ambitious and decided to sell some of them off, and other ones I just let go. I just wasn't going to do anything with them. But I kept the ones that I knew that I had a passion for and I wanted to do something with. And
that's great, George. And to finalize, you are a very successful information marketer, and you've done it, for membership sites, playing drums, and then you went to Survivalist, and you have your wife's magazine, which is Desserts. What is the name again?
Desserts Magazine.
Desserts Magazine. And I suppose you have a lot of other niches you are in, right? Mm-hmm. Or not?
Yeah, we're in the politicalness because we got a political magazine.
Magazine.
We're also launching a new magazine on autism.
Autism. What is autism?
Autism is it's kind of like a disease, or the mental disease, where kids have trouble. A lot of autistic kids, and so we're launching that to help parents deal with autism, with their families and
But what I wanted to ask is that you are very successful now. You know businesses few people that I actually knows, mainly on this publishing side and mainly on the digital information business. But for a lot of people that were watching here, they are either starting or they are starting in the realm of digital, right? Mm-hmm. So what would be your main tips for them that are starting right now? So what would you say to them that they should do and they say to them that they shouldn't do?
Let's talk about what they shouldn't do first.
They shouldn't do first, yes.
Because that's the most important part. Get that out of the way.
Yes.
What you shouldn't do is to try to figure it out on your own. And if you're in this and you're watching this video right now, I'm assuming that you're already starting to follow someone else's advice. Erico, for example. Okay, learn from other people's mistakes. Okay, so don't try to go out there and figure out, don't try to create a product based on what you think the market wants. That's the biggest mistake that online marketers and actually just business owners in general make. That's why businesses come and go all the time. They try to think they know what the market wants and they don't. Do the research. Go to Google, go to the search engines, ask your market, do surveys. What is it that you want? What are your challenges? Some of the most amazing products that I've ever created, most successful ones, came out of just saying, what are you having a problem with right now? What are your challenges? And then go get that information, collect it, refine it, and then give it back to them.
Yes.
Because that's what they want. Right now we don't have much time, so we're looking for things like, how can I get this information quickly? So we search the internet, and a funny thing is, most of the information that you buy online that can cost several $1,000s even, you can find some of that information for free, but people don't want to spend the time trying to find that information, and it could take years. It took me years. I'm sure it took you years to learn this type of process, and you have to vet the information, what's good and what's bad. So go with somebody that actually can take you and guide you through the process so you don't waste your time. You have to put a value on your time too as well. So don't trade hours for dollars, except in learning what you need to do now, because it's really, really important that you get ahead and you get started right away.
Yes.
Taking action, getting into the things you should do. Take action every day to get your goal. One of the things that I use, because some people are not as effective as they'd like to be, I have a timer. So every 15 minutes, a little timer goes ding. It's a countdown timer. I need to have completed a task every 15 minutes that's going to get me to the goal that day. So I have a task list.
Very good.
And
so
it works pretty good.
You make a task list and you set up a 15-minute timer, and then you go through that task.
Yeah, exactly. And this includes phone calls. You should not be on the phone with any one person for more than 15 minutes. Because I've been on the phone for hours before and gotten nothing done.
Yes.
You know, you need to get to it. Successful people are busy people.
Yes.
And subconsciously, if you're not careful, you'll give someone that you're trying to do a deal with or a business with the impression that you're not successful because you've got all the time in the world.
Yeah.
Okay. So you don't need to be rude about it, but you do have. I've got another engagement I've got to get to. You know what? Let's pick this up tomorrow, or I'll just go ahead and send you an email and finalize this. I'll have my secretary do, whatever you need to do. Just get off the phone every 15 minutes to make sure that you don't, go over that.
Feel in the trap.
Exactly.
Fell in the trap.
Exactly. But taking action is the most important. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Take imperfect action.
What do you mean?
Meaning
imperfect action.
One of the big problems I had.
It's a good example, right? We're taking done is better than perfect.
Done is better than perfect. It's exactly the same thing. By taking imperfect action, you can try to perfect something, and if you're a perfectionist, you'll never perfect it. We can always make things better, always, always, always. So it's better to actually take what you've got now, bring it to the market, test it, improve upon it, fail fast. If you're going to fail with something, fail quickly. Don't take a long time to fail. Don't spend $100,000 researching and developing a product just to put it on the market and fail with it. Fail fast.
Yes.
And then move on. Make it better. Evolve. That's what I would recommend. I mean, those are the things that have always kept me back that I've worked through in my life. And this is one of those things where you're constantly doing these things. You're constantly trying to stay on track and be better. So I would definitely recommend that you take as much action as you can, quickly. And another thing is, don't work 8 hours a day on your business, I find, because you become
not work 8 hours a day. What would you suggest?
Along the unproductive route of not taking action is taking too much action. So sometimes when you end up working 8 hours a day on your business, we only have so much brain power to spend on an energy on something. And what I found is I'm actually more productive working 4 hours a day than I am working 8 hours a day.
So you can get more things done working 4 hours a day than why?
Because you got a deadline. You have a finite amount of time. You know that you have to get this thing done. So if you don't make that happen right away, there's a chance that it'll never happen. What I found myself, and you probably have found yourself doing this too, more than likely, is you'll be on doing something, you'll be 2 hours doing something, you realize you got nothing done. You'll be messing around on Facebook, checking your email, doing everything that you know that you shouldn't be doing just to avoid subconsciously doing the work that you should be doing.
Yes.
So that's why I use the 15-minute scale to make sure that I'm constantly achieving tasks, and I consciously try not to work more than 4 hours a day. And this took years to learn that.
Yes. That's really great. George, thank you very much for your generosity, and I really appreciate that. I really appreciate to know a little bit more about your secrets, mainly about productivity, because entrepreneurship is about productivity at the end of the day, right? And I'm really glad that you take your time to share this with us, right?
Would you mind if I share one more tip?
Yeah.
Okay.
One more.
This is something it's very close and dear to my heart, and that is to become a master at one thing and do that one thing really, really well. Early on, I got a little bit distracted by I had a lot of interest. I wanted to do drums and magazines and politics and survival. And what I found was I painted myself into a corner where I couldn't grow like I wanted to grow my business.
Yes.
I didn't have as much freedom. I mean, I was coming from a situation of working 15 hours a day just to keep all this stuff running. And I realized that the only way I can split myself is to start outsourcing. When you start bringing on employees or other people to help you out, you take on huge amounts of risk. So when you're starting out, just pick one thing and do that one thing really, really well. Don't become a jack of all trades and a master of none. Become a master of one thing. It's good to know a little bit about a lot of different things, but take action on one area. People get stuck in that whole, I don't know what I'm going to do next. Or there's too many different options, that curse of knowledge.
Yes.
Knowing you can do too many different things and be successful. Just pick the thing you're the most passionate about and do that first.
Very good, George. Well, thank you very much. I can relate to that. When I start things, as entrepreneurs, we're always looking for the next thing, right? Mm-hmm. And it's great. So what is, if you're starting, what is the one thing that would you say that they should be good at?
Should be good at?
Yeah, they're starting right now. What's the one thing that you think that's a good start to be good at? I'm getting on the spot right now. I know it's kind of a...
Hopefully this answers your question, but building a list is the most important thing. And build a list in an area that you already have an interest in. If you're passionate about drums,
that's
build a list in drums.
It was actually my word. It would be my words, right? Because building a list is the beginning of everything. Gives you power and stuff. Really grateful, man. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Erico.